Welcome everyone to Albany Days. We're really excited that you were able to join us today for some helpful information and some collaboration. Just please remember, if you are on a phone, that you mute yourself, *6, and then on your computer, you can go ahead and mute yourself. If there are any questions that come up as we are going through some of the information today, just put them in the chat and I will pepper them in as appropriate. So I wanted to make sure that you had that information. My name is Dorcas. Yes, that is my real name. I've been in medical needs camping since 1992. I worked at the Hole in the Wall Gang Camp for 4 seasons, and then I moved down to Camp Boggy Creek, which is a year-round program that serves many different illness groups, one of them being bleeding disorders. I now am the primary caregiver for my mother, so I contract and consult with bleeding disorder camps all across the country, and I'm the co-chair of the Nacho Camping Conference, which is for bleeding disorders, camps that host bleeding disorders. We are very excited that you two have joined us today, and I am so excited to be a part of Albany Days and to be able to support you in this most important work. We also have some other key players. We have Bob Graham. He is the Director of Public Policy. He is a person with a bleeding disorder, and he's been active in the community for over 30 years. During that time, Bob has worked for youth camps, family camps, and also as a member of the NHF Ethics Working Group, the National Camp Exchange, and a longtime planning member and a good friend of mine on the Nacho Committee as well. Since 2009, Bob has volunteered with the NYSBDC as the Public Policy Director, helping identify issues of concern for our community and working with the community, legislators, and others to ensure everyone has the access to health care that they need. Bob currently lives in Varysburg, New York. And then, of course, we have Miss Lindsay Cox. She is the coalition manager. She joined in 2018, and she has an extensive background in volunteer management, facilitating educational and leadership workshops and advocacy work over the variety of issues. Her responsibilities include managing and executing the Coalition's annual State House Days, Albany Days, woohoo! And the Regional Educational Advocacy Development for Youth. That's the READY program. She writes lots of grants to support the Coalition's activities, and she also serves as a liaison to the Coalition for its external partners. She is based out of Albany. She also works as the Director of Engagement and Strategic Innovation for the New York City Hemophilia Chapter, and has a dual Bachelor's of Arts in Public Science, Political Science and Philosophy, Politics and Law from Binghamton University. Take it away, Lindsay.
Thank you so much, Dorcas. We are so happy to have you all here today. Thank you for being on, and we are excited to get Albany Days kicked off. First and foremost, we wanted to thank our sponsor, Takeda, who has been a wonderful sponsor for Albany Days and the READY program, as well as our ASK program this year, along with the various organizations that the New York State Bleeding Disorders Coalition is made up of. So very grateful for the sponsors for this program this year in 2021. And with that, we're going to kick it off, and we are going to review the Albany Days schedule for 2021. We're so excited to share it with you and are very grateful you all could register, sign up, and are here to participate. So a couple of things we wanted to run through. The first being today's wonderful webinar. We're going to go through a little bit of everything. We're going to touch on how to tell your story. We've got a virtual story booth. We're going to be launching our scavenger hunt, which we're very excited about, and going over Bleeding Disorders Awareness Month resolutions locally and how that's going to be a large initiative for us this Albany Days. So we are about a week and a half out from Albany Days Advocacy Weekend. So this is a pre-planning meeting. You can hear a little bit about the program. We're launching a couple of our initiatives and we're going to get right into it. Saturday, March 20th is when we're going to have our Ready Teen Retreat. That is only for teens, so kids and teens ages 13 to 18, and we're going to have various games, challenges, prizes, special guests, you name it. And we're going to be talking about everything from advocacy to leadership to how to tell your story and much more. So definitely looking forward to having all the teens at that program on Saturday, March 20th. On Sunday the 21st, we are going to be doing our Albany Days training. So for those that have visited Albany Days before, we usually have a half-day training in Albany. Unfortunately, we're doing things virtually this year again. So we're going to be doing about a 2-hour, 2.5-hour interactive, entertaining, hopefully, Albany Days briefing. So we'll have a brief Advocacy 101. We'll be talking to you about the issues we're advocating for this year. We'll do some planning for some of the Zoom meetings we have with legislators, and then talking about social media and how we're going to be utilizing that, as well as emails to really drive advocacy this year. And then the following Monday and Tuesday, we've got 2 legislative meetings that we're going to be having with Senator Kennedy's office, as well as Assemblywoman Joyner's office. So make sure you get those on your calendars. We'll be letting you know when Assemblywoman Joyner's office will be meeting with them on Tuesday. It'll be in the morning, hopefully, and we'll get you that information as soon as we have it. But make sure you mark those down on your calendars. We're so excited to have you, and we're ready to kick off Albany Days. So here we go. There's a little bit of information about the schedule. Do we have any questions so far?
Nope.
Fantastic. Well, we will move right along then. So the other main thing, aside from for those that have been to Albany Days prior, we usually meet with legislators about a variety of issues. Now we're going to be doing the issue briefing on Sunday, not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. So we're going to be talking to you a little bit more about the issues that we're going to be focusing on with the legislators. But we're also launching, we're very excited to announce that we're launching the March is Bleeding Disorder Awareness Month Local Resolution Challenge. So what does that mean? I'm going to show you a little bit more. So for those of you that have been to Albany Days before or Washington Days, you might be aware that since 2016, March has been designated Bleeding Disorders Awareness Month nationally. And then since 2017, we've also done it and have worked to pass March is Bleeding Disorders Awareness Month in New York State. So this is the 5th year of advocating for March is Bleeding Disorders Awareness Month in New York State. And then we've had a couple of very dedicated advocates throughout the years also really take things into their own hands and do a legislative push locally as well. So I definitely want to give a shout out to Marilyn and Mike Tuberdick from the Buffalo area, who are with the Western New York Blood Care chapter. And they, for the past few years, have also been able to declare March as Bleeding Disorders Awareness Month in the city of Buffalo and in Erie County where they live. So one of the many things that we've decided to do is to try to, in 2021, because everything is virtual, get as many cities, towns, and counties across New York State to declare March as Bleeding Disorders Awareness Month. But we can't do it alone. We need all of you, and a large part of Albany Days this year is going to be reaching out to your local legislators, whether it's city or town council members, your local mayor, county representatives, your county legislator, and more, to ask them to declare March as Bleeding Disorders Awareness Month. Luckily, you're not going to be doing this alone. We prepared this guide for you, as you can see, that we've sent out to you via email as well, and we'll have a link when we attach this video that we'll be sending out to you all. It'll be in that email as well, so you'll have plenty of access to this. And we've drafted not only some talking points for you all, places where you can find your local legislators, and a lot more on this guide. We've drafted an email template that you can be able to take and use this as an email guide if you would like, that you can just send off to your legislator. We've highlighted in yellow everything that needs to be changed or edited. Or you can feel free to write your own email. This is just to help, hopefully, those that might not have as much experience in writing emails to legislators. We also have attached a draft proclamation that you can attach to the email so that your legislator really doesn't have to do a ton of work. Here's a pretty universal draft proclamation that we've used on a national level and a state level for a very long time, that hopefully your local legislator will be able to take a look at and say, yeah, we put our stamp of approval on it. And then we also, thanks to the National Hemophilia Foundation, have included fast facts about bleeding disorders and hemophilia treatment centers that you can also send to your local legislators if in case they have any additional questions or want some more information about bleeding disorders. So everything you need to know is in the guide that we've provided here. We're trying to get as many cities, towns, and counties to declare March as Bleeding Disorders Awareness Month. Make sure you send an email to your legislators. You can look them up under these links at the local legislator area here. And if you have any questions, please email me, Lindsay Cox. I'm the coalition manager at lindsay.cox@nyhemophilia.org. Otherwise, this guide will be able to tell you all that you need to know about making March Bleeding Disorders Awareness Month in your city, town, and county. With that, are there any questions regarding Bleeding Disorders Awareness Month resolutions?
So we should start right away with these with the proclamation requests.
Definitely, yeah, we would love that. So as soon as you're able to get started with those proclamation requests, yeah, the sooner the better.
Okay.
Thank you, John.
Sure.
Other questions? Wonderful. And feel free to spread the word. So bleeding disorder organizations, or if you've got friends also, by all means, feel free to share this legislative guide, the Bleeding Disorders Awareness Month Resolution Guide, out into via email, on Facebook, with the community members, so that even if they're not registered for Albany Days, we welcome all and any advocates. So, all right. And with that, we are going to transition into the scavenger hunt kickoff. Jess, are you ready to talk a little bit about the scavenger hunt, which we're so excited to launch? She might be a little tied up, which is not a problem at all. So I am more than happy to begin with a little bit about the scavenger hunt. And then when she rejoins us, we will be able to show you a little bit more. And she's really been so fantastic in the setup of all of this. So thank you so much to Jessica Graham for really helping to establish this. We are so excited to announce that today we have officially made live the Albany Days 2021 scavenger hunt. So this is the first time we've done something like this for Albany Days. And we've launched it through GooseChase, which is an app that many people might be familiar with. It's very popular within the bleeding disorders community and different organizations. It's essentially a virtual scavenger hunt app, which is pretty cool. So how do you participate? Why should I participate? Well, we've got a couple of really cool prizes for folks that do decide to participate. First place prize is a $100 Amazon gift card. Second place prize, $50 Amazon gift card. And third place prize, $25 Amazon gift card. Worried that you're not going to get in the top three? Well, don't, because we also have a participant raffle. It's going to be totally random for anyone that chooses to participate. That's going to be a $100 Amazon gift card. So just for participating, you're automatically entered in the raffle. Each activity or task has different points set to it. So if you, for example, one of the tasks is take a picture in your best red tie, scarf, or apparel. That's going to be a certain amount of points, as opposed to, say, emailing your legislator, which will be a different amount of points. So the goal is to get as many points as you can and to have fun while doing it, of course. So how do you participate? Well, all you have to do is download the GooseChase app. And it's goose like the animal and chase like a chase, all one word. We've decided, we've also launched it. Thanks, Bob. I'm seeing Bob laugh in the background. That's fine. How else would you, it's GooseChase, GooseChase on the App Store. So what you can do, we've also elaborated all these instructions via email. You download GooseChase, and when you sign up, so you download the app, you log on, and you can either sign up, which you can see here, create a username, password, or email, or you can go on as a guest and participate. When you go on, after you've signed up, you'll hit sign up, and then you'll be able to click on a small magnifying glass, as you can kind of see here, in the top right corner. And that's going to bring you to this, join a game. This is the private game code, EZM5J6. Again, we've included all this information in the email that we've sent out. That's how you're going to be able to get to our game. And it's going to pop up this, Virtual Albany Days 2021. Starts today, we've launched it, and it ends on March 31st. So in order to participate, you'll hit select team and join game. It's going to ask you for a password. The password is all one word, lowercase, Albany Days. Simple as that. Again, all of this is in your email. It'll bring you to this wonderful page, and you can create your own team. So you're going to create your own team, put in your team name, and feel free to change that access code if you, for example, want to have your family do it. If you're going to have your family, you can have your own access code, and folks can join onto your team and participate, which is exciting. So put in your team name, remember that access code in case other folks want to join your team, and then you join game, and it's as simple as that. So like I said, every step is laid out in the email as well, but we're just so excited. We know we've been testing it out over the past couple days. It's a lot of fun. We hope you all have as much fun as we do, and it'll be a nice way to really commemorate this year's Albany Days. So very excited about that. And if you have any questions or issues in getting into the game, definitely please email us. Again, my email is lindsay.cox@nyhemophilia.org. Wonderful. And with that, we are going to turn it over to Dorcas, who is going to share a bit about how to tell your story. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dorcas. And we'll be good to go in just one moment. All right, Dorcas, take it away.
All right, I want to share just a couple of things, maybe some friendly reminders, and maybe a few thoughts to consider when sharing a story. We all tell stories. We tell stories all the time. We tell stories to our family. We tell stories to our friends. We tell stories to our coworkers, maybe stories about our vacations or what happened last weekend. For me, it was the Snowmageddon in Austin, Texas, which put us out of power and water for a week. And I am the primary caregiver for my 91-year-old mother, so that was lots of fun. Maybe it's your daughter's piano recital. We're always telling stories. However, sometimes when it's important or it becomes professional, we kind of freeze up and we get a little nervous. It's almost like taking off your most comfortable sweater and having to put on some fancy ball gown, although I do love fancy ball gowns. So that would be very comfortable for me to tell the story. But we just kind of get a little stuffy. So I just wanted to share some thoughts about telling your story, because you all have meaningful, important stories to share. So first, let's make it relatable to our people. Well, how do we relate to our people? And the way to do that is to know the goal of your story. What is it that you're trying to teach people about the story that you are telling, because every story has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and there's a purpose behind it, especially the meaningful stories that you all will be sharing. So make sure you know the goal of your story and what you are trying to teach. The next thing you might want to think about is knowing your audience. Who are you talking to? It's a little more difficult when we're doing recordings and or we are doing it virtually than as opposed to being in the room and watching body language and watching if people are not paying attention or doing something different. Typically, if you're in a room with people, you can feel that energy and you can tell if you actually are taking them on a journey with what you want to say. Virtually becomes a little more difficult. So thinking about the audience, I know if you all are going to stay around or you can sign up later, we will be doing a story booth. And those stories, it's a wide range of audience. So know who it is that you are thinking about and talking to, and also know what your purpose is. So that way you can truly take them on a journey that is engaging and purposeful. The other thing that I want to remind people, and this may be things you already know, but speak the way that you normally speak. Don't feel free to use really large words or words that don't even come natural to you. If it were me, I would write my story down the way I spoke. And that way I can rehearse it just a tad bit. I wouldn't practice it completely because you want it to be conversational. You want it to be natural, and you want it to come from the heart so it's authentic. Those are a couple of things to keep in mind. But please speak the way you normally do. So this is where we are thinking about telling your story. And that's the most important piece, is telling your story and not someone else's story of how the bleeding disorders have affected you or your family or something like that. Bob is going to be hosting the story booth, and we'll be actually asking some questions to trigger some thoughts to speak normally as a conversation. So we'll be recording those later, and also there will be a link sent out, so if you wanted to do that at another time. But tell your story of how the bleeding disorders affect you and your family. Start by saying your first name and where you are from. A person recording it will ask you your first and last name for purposes, but I wanted to make sure, just say your first name, where you're from, what is your condition, and how are you treating it. When I think about that, I think about when I first got into medical needs camping and I was taught what bleeding disorders were. They had to really talk to me about blood clotting factor as opposed to factor, because I didn't know what it was. I had no idea back in 1993. Just avoid using language that people don't understand, and not getting technical, but actually just thinking about people who don't know or understand. Maybe share your daily life. What is it like? What moves you? What's hard for you? What is helpful now because of how far we've gotten in all of the treatments? So share some things about your daily life. And here's the point. Here's the part where you could tell a story about some incident that's powerful, but has a really good outcome. And then also maybe share what worries are you having about living with a bleeding disorder, or a member of your family with a bleeding disorder. So those are things that you can think about as you're crafting your story to share with others. And again, these will be recorded, and people will hear all kinds of things, and they'll be moved by what you say if you remember what your goal is, what you're trying to teach people, how you know your audience, and then speaking from the heart. Perhaps, again, as I said, write it down, rehearse it a little bit, make sure it's conversational, because your stories matter.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Dorcas, for sharing that. We're so excited to be having our virtual story booth to be taking these stories, recording these stories. We're so looking forward to collecting more and more stories, and we know how strong of advocates we have in the bleeding disorder community, and we're very fortunate for that. So thank you so much, Dorcas, for giving us some tips on how to share our story, and especially when it comes to speaking to legislators. Fantastic. Well, with that, we're going to do a soft wrap up here. We're going to talk a little bit about, we want to make sure that you remember to download GooseChase. All the materials are going to be in your email we've provided. I'll make sure once we have this all recorded, we'll send out the recording via email, and we also will send out those additional links via email. Please, please, please go out. Make sure you're emailing your legislators about getting March declared as Bleeding Disorders Awareness Month in your cities, your towns, your county. If you have any questions, by all means, please feel free to reach out to me, Lindsay Cox, Coalition Manager at lindsay.cox@nyhemophilia.org. I do want to pass it over to Jess Graham in case there was anything else on GooseChase or the scavenger hunt that she wanted to add in regards to the scavenger hunt we're kicking off.
Yeah, thanks, Lindsay. Unfortunately, I missed the part where you covered that because I was on a separate call. So yeah, so just to clarify, so that game code, when you do download it, and Lindsay might have covered this, you don't have to set up a login. You can join it as a guest. That game code will take you directly to the game for Virtual Albany Days. So you don't have to worry about looking for the right name or any of that sort of stuff. And then there's just the password, Albany Days, all one word, that'll take folks into it. So it's pretty easy to use. One of the cool things about it too is that if you sign up for it, you'll be able to see other people's responses as well as your own if you hit on one of the tabs in the app. So when there's options for, posting a video or, posting a response through a photo, that sort of thing, you'll be able to go in there and see what other people have done as they've completed the challenges, which is kind of cool. Especially we try to make it a little bit fun with some of those challenges in there. So it's just kind of neat to see what people come up with. So I would definitely encourage you guys, anyone you send the information along to, try to have fun with it, and yeah, just have a nice little competition as part of our advocacy initiative. So, but thanks, Lindsay.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jess. We're so excited to have it. I know how much fun it's been for us coming up with the different prompts and testing it out. So we hope you have as much fun as we have.
And we will be adding a few more challenges
yeah, so keep an eye out for that.
So, yeah.
Definitely. Fantastic. Well, with that, we're going to wrap up and head into our story booth. So thank you all so much for joining for this pre-program webinar. Like I mentioned, if you have any questions, please reach out to us. Make sure you're checking your email, and we've got some great initiatives for you guys to get started and get excited about Albany Days 2021. So thank you again so much for registering. We're so excited to have you advocate with us. And thank you again to our sponsor, Takeda, as well as the various organizations in the New York State Bleeding Disorders Coalition. Very grateful to have you all on, and happy advocating.